Andrew,
Yeah.
are you here?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Andrew,
Oh.
I'm
Oh.
here.
So I'm here with Bryan Jenkins, both of them. This is our VP of Sales.
Did you check your email?
Did you send me an email?
I sent you an email.
Dear Mr. Sigwart, I am writing to bring to your attention the unauthorized use of my name, image, and likeness. I hereby demand that you immediately cease and desist from any further use of my name, image, and likeness.
I use ChatGPT. It's my new lawyer.
ChatGPT, a good lawyer?
It's the one I can afford
Oh, okay.
due to your constant use of my name, image, and likeness in the background of all these YouTube videos with millions of views.
See, I know you say this several times, and in my head it's like, is he joking that he wants it gone? So tell us, Bryan, when did you start here at RunSignup, and what made you decide to be our VP of Sales here?
So I started with RunSignup in February of 2013. In previous to working at RunSignup, I worked at another company doing something similar. I met Bob and Jordan at a conference a couple different times. And I was looking for a company really focused on technology to help our industry move forward. And I thought that RunSignup was going to be able to take the technology to the next level. And over the past 10 years, I think we've backed that up pretty well. Some of the things that we're able to do is, pretty mind-blowing. Like the photos, for example. It's really interesting. We have all these photos uploaded into our system, and they're automatically tagged by a bot, looking at the bib number. And 10 years ago, it was impossible to do that. And now anybody can do it that sets it up on their site. That's just an example of, where we've come to and what I was hoping to accomplish when I joined the team.
It's funny you talk about photos. Ryan was just in here earlier today telling me about the new updates to the photo platform.
Did you take notes?
I recorded it.
That's better.
So what is it like to sell RunSignup and TicketSignup to people?
So what I would say is that our job isn't necessarily to sell the product. We really try hard to understand the customer and their problems. So our focus as a sales team is we spend a lot of time onboarding and training and ensuring people understand product, because the customer is buying the product and they need the product to accomplish things. They need us to help them understand if we can do what they need. But most importantly, we need to understand their problems first and foremost. So what I think our job is to do is to sit down with the customer, listen carefully, and then be very honest about what we can and cannot do, and then make sure that we can do what they need to do. At the end of the conversation, we should be saying, here's all the things we can do, here's the things we can't do. Would you like to move forward with us, yes or no? Not, hey, here's how great everything is that we can do, and ignoring the things that they might really need just for the fact of a sale. So that kind of goes up and down the company, is that we're a product-led company, and we employ that ourselves as a sales team as well, because if we sell someone something and they have a bad experience with us, it's a lot of negative for the customer, for ourselves. It's just not something we want to do. It'll happen from time to time. We can't necessarily maybe meet someone's needs, but we are very upfront about that, and we give them the right to leave at any time, because that's really important. Is like, if we aren't the solution that you need, then let's get you to the place that you need to be.
Now, with RunSignup and TicketSignup being free to use, when you say sell to the customer,
it's a platform. So yeah. we're selling the platform, and the way that we monetize ourselves is through transactions. So it is possible that someone can create a race or create an event on the platform, and it's totally free. And that's okay. We have free events, and it's not going to hurt us or anything. But obviously the goal is to, identify customers who have transactions that can go through the platform. And so the customers really sometimes are shocked at how easy it is to do business with us, because there isn't a formal contract. You have to work with us for the next 5 years or else. And we don't ask for any money up front. We don't ask for anything from them except for, hey, would you like to do business with us? And you can discontinue at any time. So that's kind of like one of the key differentiators, I think, from our standpoint, is that the customer is fully in control at all times, and that allows us to not have a pushy sales process. Events are going to come and go. They happen throughout the year, and events do go away over time too. And so we need to understand all of that and guide the customer throughout the life cycle of an event.
So what questions do you ask to better understand the customers?
So when we're having a conversation with a customer, sometimes we have some information before we start. So sometimes the info team will get reached out to and say, I'd like to speak with someone about my event, and they may share the link to their event or their Facebook page, or we may get some information sent to us in the notes from the conversation with our info team, or if someone submits that they'd like to speak with someone. And from that, we might do a little bit of research prior to the call. Like, this is a PTA, this is the 5th year they've done their 5K. And that way we can come in and we've already looked at their website and we have a pretty good understanding as to what their event is about. And so we can tailor those questions a little bit more based off of our experience with similar events. If we don't have that information, we're going to say, okay, tell us a little bit about your event. And then quiet. Because it's really useful information that comes back then. They're going to tell us the who, what, when, where, probably how much, and why they're putting on that event. And those then lead to a bunch of different paths for us. So they may have very specific issues they're trying to solve for. Like, hey, we want to do a team competition. In the past, we weren't able to do that. Do you support teams? So then it becomes very much a feature-driven conversation. So sometimes it's peer-to-peer fundraising. Sometimes it's how do we handle virtual results, for example. So what we're trying to do is piece out that information by kind of really starting with that key question is, tell me about your event. And then from there, we get almost everything we need.
Now, do you work with each customer one at a time, or are you like working with several customers, and how are you keeping track of all that?
So I'm in a little bit of a management role. So I do work with customers directly. Many of our longer term customers that have been here a long time. So I'm typically dealing with more challenging issues or opportunities that would take additional resources. I may need to have conversations with our development team, like, could we potentially add these features, or this customer would need those types of things. But the other sales team members are talking to customers all day, every day. And that's like kind of the ethos of the sales team, is that it's activity, activity, activity. The more people we can talk to who have events, the better off we are, because it keeps us really sharp. It keeps us focused on what the customers need, because you can't get dull if you're talking to customers, because we see that evolution in what customers need, like, over time. But it's every single day that evolution is happening a little bit by little bit. Like, now we're offering Apple Pay and there's more people signing up on phones, whereas in 2019 that was not as much of the conversation. Now it's an expectation. Like, I want people to be able to register on their phone on race day. How do I do that? Our sales team needs to know how to do that and react to that. And then your other question was about note taking. So when the sales team is talking to a lead or someone who's new to us, they automatically get added into Salesforce, which is our backend database, which is how we keep track of all the interactions we have with customers. All the emails, all of our notes are all kept there, so that anyone on the team can see what's going on, so that we can collaborate. And what we tend to put in there is, tell us, the name, date, pricing of the event, who the other decision makers might be, when their decision time frame might be coming up, why they're putting on the event, if they need additional features that might be beyond a standard event. So we put all those things into the system so that not only the sales team can see that, but also the account manager or the info team could theoretically see that information if they needed to. We work with the development team and a consultant to implement Salesforce. And it was a big, big project. It's taken us a couple of years. And the beautiful part about the integration that we have with Salesforce now is that if a customer goes onto the RunSignup site and starts the process of creating their event, it automatically gets transferred over from our system into Salesforce. So we know who they are, what's the name of their event, a link to their dashboard, anyone else who may be associated with the event. That's all linked there. And also if they've ever done events with us in the past. So maybe they worked with us 5 years ago and now they're putting on another event because they've got a new concept they're working on. So all that information is automatically synced over to Salesforce. We don't have to manually enter any of that. And as that event moves through the process of creating their event, it actually moves it in Salesforce. So it says it moves it from a campaign created, so they've created an event. It moves it into payment account setup, and then it moves it into the event is open. So that system is automatically communicating. So RunSignup and Salesforce are automatically communicating with each other. And that was actually an upgrade we did this year so that we could identify, like, one of the biggest challenges for the sales team and the account management team and info team is our payment accounts. The payment accounts are the biggest sticking point. It's an unfortunate necessary of like the business that we're in, is that we need to know our customers. And so we have to collect sometimes sensitive information from customers to ensure that we know who we're doing business with so that those funds are appropriately deposited into their bank account. And we know that it's tough. We know that people don't like it, but it's our jobs to help people through that process. And Salesforce tells us when someone is stuck in that process. And so we know to, try to give some extra time and care with that customer to say, we understand you don't like this, but it is kind of a necessary evil.
So when a customer decides to move forward, what happens next?
What happens next is there's a team member we have named Lewis Jones. He's in charge of our customer support team. So I contact Lewis, or anyone on the sales team contacts Lewis, and we explain to Lewis a little bit about the event, what the customer's needs are, and their timelines. And then Lewis lets us know what account manager might be available or the best fit for that particular customer. And once we know that, we then reply in an email and introduce the account manager. And the account manager, depending on the size of the event, may even schedule a call with that customer or offer some times to set up a call to get them moving on the platform. So that introduction is it's a handoff, but also the sales team member stays on that process because we're the person that kind of gathered the information initially. So we'll have a conversation with the account manager after we get who's going to be assigned from Lewis to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we can share the notes that we have from Salesforce, and then they can also see into the email interactions that we've had where we've gone back and forth to make sure that everybody understands what are the goals and what are the timelines.
And what kind of interactions do you have with them, with the customer afterwards?
We tend to stick with those customers for years. We hope that they keep coming back year after year. So we'll reach out to them, after the event as well, and ask them how it went and if they're planning to do the event the next year. And then we also try to get in front of it. So one of the neat things now is that we have reports that tell us, when events have been created or when events have been renewed. And so we can kind of reach out to them at the right time. So if you typically renew your event on December 1st, I might try to reach out to you around November 15th and say, hey, Andrew, last year you renewed your event around December 1st. Are you planning on doing the event again for 2024? Do you have any questions? Do you have any issues with the system? And, include the account manager on there so that we're kind of reaching out to them at that right time. You're like, hey, we actually just had our committee meeting on November 10th, and we just talked about doing the event again for next year. So it's very timely as to when we're reaching out. So we're not kind of overwhelming them with like unnecessary contact, because a lot of our events that we work with, they use the platform for 3 to 6 months of the year, and then they put the platform down because they move on to other projects. So we want to kind of hit them in that right time frame where they're really thinking about and working on their event.
And what do you think the greatest strength of the sales team is?
I think the greatest strength of the sales team is the focus on product. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, and we don't have anything to offer except for the product. So we need to understand product as well as we are capable so that we can best understand the customer's problems. Because in today's world, people don't like interacting with salespeople. They want to interact with someone that can understand their problems and can give them solutions to their problems. And our product has a tremendous number of options and solutions for our customers. And if we can get them into the system and with their account manager and an understanding of their goals, we have a really high percentage chance of meeting or exceeding their expectations.
Now, is there any feature that we offer on RunSignup where when you hear a customer say, hey, we need this, you're like, oh, I'm glad, like that's a good feature?
I have a lot. We had the tips and tricks presentation I did for a long time that had lots and lots of different features that I kind of thought were a little underutilized. Today, if I had to pick one, I would say email marketing. And the reason is that email marketing has almost a negative connotation at times, not from our platform, but just that, there's more tools out there that are new. TikTok's kind of the latest social media, and those tools are just not as effective as email. So using our new email V2 capabilities and the ability to build beautiful emails that scale on mobile, which that's super important, is so important. And it's a feature that we continue to work on, like every week or two. We're putting out one little thing, or sometimes it's a major thing. And having a good email platform that you can rely on and use, and an email strategy, is critical to promotion of an event. Not to say that social media isn't helpful, but I think most of us have kind of seen in the past few years that people are fragmenting into different social media platforms. So not everybody's using Facebook like they were in 2013. So there's some people that might use Reddit. There's some people that might use Discord. There's some people that might use Instagram. Yeah. MySpace, yes.
Now, do you have any funny stories from the sales team?
So I have a good one. So do you remember, I want to say this was 2015 or 2016, we had a symposium and Jordan couldn't be found anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I do remember that.
Jordan Deslitz is one of our team members, been at the company. There's an argument as to who has been at the company the longest, him or Andrew Burke. Either way, he was at one of our symposiums and took an elevator and got off on the wrong floor. So he says, oh, no problem. I'll just take the stairwell. Well, he gets into the stairwell, and when he gets into the stairwell, all the doors are locked. And none of us can find Jordan for, I would think, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. He didn't have his cell phone with him. And so I don't even know how he got out. I'm not sure that he ever did.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Bryan, for talking to us about sales.
Thanks, Andrew.
We can get rid of that if you want.
I prefer to keep 4 sets of eyes on you.
Okay. So we can keep that.
I consent.
We've got that recorded. I'm not going to get sued for having your image and likeness here anymore.
As long as you keep the Ring camera behind there turned on so that I can keep an eye. So you can
speak to me?
Yeah. So I can let you know when, like that wasn't cool. Like adding the mustache in here, you didn't ask me about the mustache.
That was Sue. That grew on its own.
It did not. You didn't even ask me about this. It's a fun...
Wait, let me ask you about your mustache. So Bryan, I noticed you and your doppelganger are growing mustaches.
So it's for Mustaches for Kids. I don't know how many chapters they have, but they have one in Richmond where I live. So I'm a board member of Henrico Casa, and we got selected by Mustaches for Kids to be a participating nonprofit. It's a really fun event over the course of November. Kind of the same idea of Movember, but a little bit different. And so what they do is they have a set of kids-based nonprofits in the greater area of Richmond that get selected to fundraise. And so Henrico Casa got selected last year, so I got to do it the first time last year, and this is our second time. Learned a lot of stuff about growing mustaches. So much better this time than last time.
There's technique.
Well, last time, I was, trying to,
just really push it out.
Like, yeah, it didn't work. And so this time, I just let it grow. Way better. And so what's neat about Mustaches for Kids is that there's a group of people who aren't associated with any of the local nonprofits, and they go out and fundraise like crazy. Some of these people are fundraising $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, which is incredible as an individual fundraiser to fundraise that much. And those individual funds get used for matching days. So I'll get a text message at 10 o'clock in the morning. This morning I got one, and it said from 10 to 5, it's a matching opportunity. So any dollars that we're able to raise during that time frame, I'd get it matched up to say $100 or $500, whatever the text message says. And that pool of money comes from this group of people who are out fundraising. So they're not fundraising for any particular cause. They're kind of fundraising for everybody. And so these text messages and emails they send out creates urgency. So I really want to get that donation between 10 and 5 because that's going to get that matching donation. They also have local meetups at different breweries, so you get to meet different people who are growing mustaches. And the cool thing too is that it's not even just for men. We have many women on our team, and some of the women's mustaches, they get these mustaches and they put them on, or they make videos where, like, one of my team members, she made a video last year and her mustache was in her purse and it climbed out of her purse, like up her desk, across her keyboard, like up her shoulder, and then like sat here.
Like
and
stop motion?
Yeah, stop motion. And it was, I'm sitting here saying, trying to grow my mustache faster because, how am I going to compete with this? And so it just brings a lot of creativity. Like one of the other board members I serve with, he just put like a video out where it's like a modeling video and like showing off his mustache. So there's just a lot of creativity of people trying to, find ways to get attention and fundraise. And, I've shared this event with lots of other people because, many of our customers, like myself, are trying to figure out ways like, how do you fundraise better? And this event, I think, encapsulates fun in fundraising. So, I'm excited to be part of it. I know the mustache doesn't look good. It's not for style purposes.
Nobody said that. No, I didn't hear anyone say that.
I think I heard that. There was a voiceover.
The mustache looks great.
There we go.